veterinary conferences now, since I have a little bit more
Okay, we're
time.
live, guys. Gee, we
All right.
are
Oh,
live.
good. Okay, so
Well, keep talking. That's fine.
so what I've done in my latter years is I'm now a seminary student at Schaefer Theological Seminary and Feinberg Institute of Messianic Studies. I am a Messianic Jew, a believer Jew. So
that's why the last name is Weiss.
That's why the last name is Weiss. Right. So,
Don't feel bad. He always butchers names.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
yeah, the
I
only
don't
one.
butcher Martino.
That happens all the time. I'm always Weiss.
Yeah. Well, at least you're not Weiss.
Ain't no Jew for Jesus named Weeks. Always a Weiss.
That's right, Martino.
Yeah. Anyway, well, it's good to have Dr. Weiss here. He's been my vet for good Lord since before there was daylight savings.
Yeah, when you were crossing by the Wawa.
Yeah.
Now, when you do
long
all
time.
creatures, does that mean you it's dogs and cats, or it's much
No.
more?
Dogs, cats,
more.
and exotics, like birds, reptiles, small mammals. I don't do farm animals.
But he's done alligators in there,
I've done everything.
exotic parrots.
I've done lions when Flemington had lions.
That was Kay.
Hear that noise?
Kay had the lions.
Oh yeah, I went
Yeah.
over. Yeah, I went over there and saw a couple. When they called me to see a lion cub, I go, yeah, that'd be cool. And I went over there and I'm looking for this little cuddly thing. And she goes, there's the sisters right there. I'm like, they're like 3-4 pounds. You know,
So what'd you have to do? Did you have to sit down?
it's called ketamine.
Hey, did you ever know Martin? I call him Martin because I know
Oh,
he's
yeah,
Martin
I know.
McGuire. Do you know that he had a monkey?
Yes, I do. I remember.
You know, Martin.
I remember
Here's
that.
what Martin does. He believes in that philosophy that Dr. Luongo said, where you do it and then you ask for forgiveness afterwards.
Pretty much.
He buys this monkey and then he's told he can't have one in New Jersey.
But he knew I had a tiger too.
Oh yeah, yeah, I knew all that.
I do remember the tiger,
Yeah.
but you didn't have that for long.
I think he was only this big and it scared the life out of me.
Yeah,
That
they
was
get
it.
big. Yeah, we
yeah.
actually even saw bobcats there for a little bit, coming from Montana, and they're real cute babies. You know, they're like that because they're practicing to kill you.
Really?
But then when they're old, like about a year of age, they will rip your hospital to shreds. They're only good in their own environment. Out of their environment, they're psychos.
Wow.
So I spoke to a vet in Montana. He says, "Don't go." He goes, "It's not worth
So if you buy an exotic parrot like Brigade bought one, this major Mitchell cockatoo,
Yeah.
they're almost $10,000. You have to make sure someone like Dr. Weiss does the blood panel so that vet has that parrot has the potential to live 80 years or
Yeah.
whatever. the
Right.
case is. So without someone like Dr. Weiss, there's not a lot of places.
No,
that-
there's not. No, they carry a lot of diseases and they're expensive, and people are used to impulse buying. They go into Petco, PetSmart, and they buy these little lizards or birds or whatever, and those companies get them from wholesalers,
Yeah.
and they're not.
Well, they're like kennels and dogs.
Yeah, it's exactly right, and they end up with problems.
So before I get any animal, I always text Dr. Weiss and say, I was going to buy this finger monkey, and I sent it to him, and he wrote back, no, herpes. He wrote, no, herpes.
I don't know if the vet is my daughter goes to, but she got this. She has a male brindle Frenchie, right? And he's really good. And then she bought this female because she was going to breed him, and her vet said, "Whatever you do, don't breed this dog."
Really?
And it is a spaz. Oh my gracious, that would have been the worst thing.
Way
in the
too
world.
many of them.
But anyway, we better get.
Yeah, let's
so,
get-
Gianna, how about your week? How's it going, honey?
Very good. Busy and good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Martina, you've had quite a week.
Always.
Hey, one thing about it, if there's no drama, you'll find it.
Or it'll find me.
It'll
For
find you.
sure. What is
Well,
going
so
on?
anyway, what's happening with your case? You have a second to tell us? before we
Yeah,
get
sure.
started?
I mean, we're going before the zoning board. We're going to bring neighbors, friends, and family on November 18th. The board is very reasonable from experience. I think once we get in front of them, plead our case, I'm pretty sure this will work itself out. It's the problem is to get to the board. You have to deal with all the nonsense and rhetoric of the town itself. But the board is made up of volunteers that are only there because they care. So once you get to them,
Yeah.
I believe...
Well, like you did on this property.
Sure.
It was before the board.
But to get to them, they waste tens of thousands of dollars.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
part of the plan.
It's crazy. Anyway, well, listen. So, what about you, Pastor Bruce? What's your highlight?
Today's topic. That is my highlight.
I'm
Look,
scared.
I have been praying for months,
Okay.
like every day, about this election, 2 times a day, maybe more. And last week I changed my prayer. It was really difficult. But instead of praying who I wanted to win, I began to pray, Lord, this is who I think should win. But you know what? Your will is not my will. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. They're higher than mine. And if you want to put somebody else in office, you have a plan, and I will submit to it. And when I think when I prayed that, I had a peace that whatever happened, God is sovereign over the affairs of men, and He rules over nations. And I just rest. I just place my trust in that. And I have to tell you, I am elated beyond.
I want to hear what Dr. Weiss thinks about your prayer.
I mean, I think I've been praying for 4 years now. And, you know, I think what's going to happen, God's plan is going to happen. Doesn't matter. I mean, the end game's the end game. Nothing's going to change that. There's just a bunch of stuff in between. And God's sovereignty has been shown. He limits it and gives men free will to make decisions. And I've just been praying that, you know, this nation corrects itself and starts turning towards the Lord.
Yeah.
And that pivot, you know, we've seen all the negativity and, you know, all what we consider not biblical going on in this nation. And just hoping and praying that the pivot, because we see what happens in Israel and other nations throughout history when they've gone towards apostasy, they get destroyed. So I'm just hoping to pivot. You know, for 4 years I've been praying that the pivot moves towards God so we can be blessed, and I think it happened.
Well, on that note, welcome to Hijack Life Live, where we believe that God rescues the dreams that have been shattered by the cruelties and injustices of life, a.k.a. we are the other view.
So I tried to watch The View yesterday.
I can't watch that.
You know, can I tell you, after 5 minutes, I couldn't.
I heard they called for an insurrection without using the word insurrection. That's pretty comical.
Whatever. So let's keep
That's
going.
So why'd you pick this topic?
Yeah.
Because of Trump's win. I just, for those of you, and listen, I've been very candid that I'm not a fan of Trump as a person. My wife loves him. She thinks he's the greatest thing this side of sliced bread, whatever that means. And I did it first, and then, I don't know, his narcissism just got to me. However, I, like Isaac, or I should say Jacob, I knew he understood the value of spiritual things. He knew that's essential for America to prosper.
Right.
And I believe that's why he attached himself to the evangelical. That's why I believe he's changed his stance on certain things, because he knows that the life of America, as you mentioned, is at stake if we don't go back to biblical principles. And so I couldn't have been more elated with this Republican win. Yeah. The fact that we have a red Senate, the fact we're going to have a red House, the fact that we have a red president, and if you please, we have a red SCOTUS, the Supreme Court
there may be
of
more.
the United States, and maybe more.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, now if this team can't do something in terms of protecting us as a nation, then something's wrong with this team. When you've got that kind of power.
No, they can't do it, then something's wrong with the entire country. Because each side's had a shot now if that happens.
Yeah, and all the governors are red. So, I mean, they've got power now to make changes. And if they don't, I think God's going to give them a good kick in the butt.
Yeah, I think a lot of this has to do with, you know, people's worldview. People have either a biblical one or a pagan one. And Jimmy Kimmel, I saw this today. I'm just going to read what he said. His statement after the election, quote, "Let's be honest, it was a terrible night," with his voice faltering, "for healthcare, for climate, for science, for journalism, for justice, for free speech." And three big words, for climate, science, justice. And that is a pagan worldview. The whole thing with climate. People understand that, you know, man is to take care of it. They think we're trying to destroy it. It's God's justice. So all those statements show me that a lot of these people that went the other way do not have a biblical worldview. And those with a biblical worldview, I think it's really obvious the policies that you want to vote for. And, you know, the lying and the deceptions and attacking one man and judging one man for 4 years is so anti-Christian.
Yeah, think about it. Everything was against him. I said to my wife, and I said that to you guys coming in today. You know, when they say, you know, Trump will say they stole the election, and all of a sudden it hit me, and maybe I'm wrong, and we're open to discussion. But I thought to myself, no, God stole the election because this is His timing. This is God's timing. God wanted to reveal the lie of the DOJ, the lie of the FBI, the lie of the media. Every media left was against him except for Newsmax and Fox.
I want to go back to, he said, Jimmy Kimmel said that we lost our freedom of speech. I just posted yesterday, Netanyahu congratulated Trump, but my position was, I predict the war will end in Israel and in Ukraine, where thousands of women are getting raped every year. And the comments were, how dare you as a business owner put that on Facebook? I will never come to your salon again. I've been coming for years. I thought to myself, well, the hell with you then. This is my personal Facebook, not the salons, and that's my freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Well, their freedom of speech is
Shut your
different
mouth.
than ours.
Wait a minute. You know, they preach tolerance and they preach love, but the moment you disagree with them, they hate you and they cut you off.
That was what I was trying to say, I guess.
Yeah, no, and that's true.
I think another really key thing that started happening was how this country's government started turning on Israel. And God's entire plan is about Israel.
Yeah, those who
The
bless.
finality is about Israel. And, you know.
It all culminates.
And
Israel.
everything was against Israel. Netanyahu goes, I don't care, we'll do it our own. And I think that may have had something to do with the Spirit kind of illuminating people to vote. I think there's an undercurrent of people supporting Israel. And that in itself, I think, moved people to vote because now we know what's going to happen is that now there'll be U.S. planes flying in the air.
I can't wait to see
But
this war.
it was the men that won this election for him.
Yeah.
Black men, brown men, Hispanics, or what they call them Latinos, and white men. They voted like they've never voted before. And the women vote was higher for Trump this time around than ever before. And that's why that election was won.
Yeah, and a lot of black men and Hispanic men
especially.
have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
I mean, Hispanics go by faith. Their faith is very, very strong.
And
so are
family's
black people.
strong in the Latino community. But anyway, I thought we'd do this. I don't think anybody has a clue what the Senate does, or anybody has a clue what the Congress does, the House. So I thought, let's take a moment and talk about these branches and why it's so important that if you win it all. So, Gianna, this is, we're going to talk a little bit about what the Senate does. So go ahead.
The primary function of the Senate includes approving presidential appointments, SCOTUS appointments, ratifying international treaties, and trying impeached officials.
Impeached. In other words, they're impeached and then they come before the Senate and the Senate makes the final decision.
These powers enable the Senate to act as a check on presidential authority and ensure proper governance. Their constitutional powers include proposing legislation, drafting or amending bills, filibuster, delay or block legislation via prolonged debate, oversight of the federal budget, and the executive branch by approving or rejecting presidential appointees for agencies.
Yeah. So does that make sense? Do you understand what they're doing?
Yeah, sure. I do, yeah.
He already knew.
Yeah.
I already know.
Well, most people don't.
Yeah, so I think, Martina, what about, the Congress is the House.
But we're
and
going to
the
get
Senate.
to the Congress.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, Congress is both. But let's talk about the House.
Okay.
Well,
House or Congress?
Well, start about Congress, and then we'll go to the House.
All right, so members of Congress represent the people of their district in the United States Congress by holding hearings as well as developing and voting on legislation. As bills must pass Congress, they can go to the president to be signed into law, make laws, declare war, raise and provide public money and oversee its proper expenditure, impeach and try federal officials, approve presidential appointments, approve treaties, negotiate by the executive branch, oversight and investigations.
So who has the most power?
Well, the Senate has the ultimate power. The House, they kind of they're doing all the budgets and everything else, but the Senate really makes the final decision. However, the president can veto those decisions, which if we had a Republican House and Senate and we had a Democratic president, everything's passed from the House, passed on the Senate, and Harris goes, nope,
Yeah, that's why it's so important that we
What a
have
waste.
we have a Republican Senate.
Right. Congress. Yeah.
Well, you don't get
Yeah,
anything
come.
done, basically.
Right.
You're saying.
Yeah, it's lame duck. So, so let's reflect upon this Republican win. First of all, it's the first time that a Republican has won the popular vote in 20 years.
Right.
Wow.
20 years. And last night I was watching, they were talking about, I was watching Rob Schmidt on Newsmax, and he was talking about Texas and a lot of the counties, border counties. He said this one county has been blue since 1896.
All right. I heard that. Yeah.
And it went red. First time.
That's crazy.
Well,
That's
people are sick of everything. I mean, you hear everything with the media, how they twist and turn things, but really what it came down to is a roaster chicken used to be $4. Now it's like $9. Gas is high. I got my electric bill. I go, this has to be a mistake. I mean, people are struggling. And then you hear lies about, with the advertising, an elderly woman saying, I live off of Social Security and Trump wants to take it away.
He's not taking
He's not taking it away. He wants to eliminate Social Security tax. I mean, that will put $10,000 in somebody's pocket, and it's I'm not surprised. People are struggling. And
So basically, people are believing a lie.
they're believing lies, and because they're told that everything that comes out of Fox is a lie. So people now are living, especially young people, are living off the YouTube, living off the TikTok, living off of Facebook. There is no print media anymore.
But the real lie is when the regular media has Oprah, Taylor Swift,
No, they're
Jimmy
horrible.
Kimmel telling you that Kamala's going to win by a landslide, and here it was all just trying to say, well, she's winning anyway, might as well vote for her. That's private.
And I think
Yeah.
it was a real insult to Jews when they started saying Trump was a Nazi.
Yeah.
That was like a spit in the face of the Holocaust.
And just for those
and
watching that don't know, Dr. Weiss is a Jew.
I'm a
Yeah.
Jew, right.
And the other part is those of us who have any kind of moral fiber and understanding of the Bible understand that he said to Abraham, those who bless you, I will bless. Those
Right.
who curse you, I will curse. And he says that Jerusalem is the apple of God's eye. And when you go through all that, it doesn't change. It's to the Jew first and then the Gentile.
And you want to know why I'm
Grafted in.
so pro-Jew.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is they're still paying the price for the rejection of Christ.
Sure.
But the point is, if we want to be blessed, we better bless Israel. And the Jew understood this for the first time in a long. I mean, stood behind Trump like they never stood behind him,
Right.
because they realized that he was pro-Israel.
I have a friend, a husband and wife, that I thought I'd never see the day they'd vote for him, and they did.
Yeah, but I do
Jewish-
too.
Jewish
I have a
friends.
bunch of Jewish friends that voted for Trump this time around. I thought you're getting it.
And all it takes is looking at biblical history, and with it was Genesis 13:3, where it said that to Abraham, any country that has gone against Israel is no longer in existence, basically.
We were close.
Well, we have the border thing too.
There'll always be a remnant, always.
I
we're
was
close to that.
I was listening last night, and they were saying, I was watching CNN, and they were saying that, oh, look what he's going to do. He's going to deport all these people that have been in America for 40 years and 50 years, illegal immigrants. He's going to take away those who were born here. And they just lied, and I thought, he's not going to do any of that. So they brought
Right.
this guy in that was an immigrant from Cuba, and he won the election. Where he
Oh,
was
I saw that.
in Florida.
I saw
Did you
that.
see
Yeah,
it?
I saw that.
And he said he's not going to do that. If people have been here and established for any length of time, they're going to stay because they've proven themselves that they're not
Yeah,
murderers.
they're good citizens.
Yes.
It's all the big
It's all the
gangs.
lie.
Yeah, and
Anyway.
again, that's all pagan worldview, and it's globalism, and that started with Obama, and there are certain doctrines, and one of those is nationalism, marriage, and all those have been defiled.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, nationalism, that's being a white supremacist." No, it's not. It's a strong border. It's strong military, strong economy. It's everything about God put borders so he can bless or discipline nations. And we have an open border. So we're going against the word of God by opening our border.
Yeah.
We need to close
We
the borders.
established nations.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't understand these things. And, I do blame a lot of people. They go, oh, well, I'm Christian. You go to church on Sunday and that's it. You think you're doing something, but you're not.
Well, I have to tell you, I feel the church, we're where we are because the church has failed.
Oh yeah.
The church has failed to address these issues. I mean,
Yes.
same-sex marriage, LGBTQ. If you're struggling with that, that's between you and God. And God hates your behavior, but he loves you. He hates my behavior when I sin, but he loves me.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we legislate and approve of sin. So-
Right. It's your
and that's what this left wing wants to do.
right.
I mean, we have literally profaned the definition of marriage
Yes.
when we say same-sex marriage is okay. When we approve of abortion, we're literally desecrating the fifth or sixth commandment, thou shalt not kill. How do we expect to bless us when we do
And
that?
also, the life is made in the image of God.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly believe that, God breathed life into
Yes.
Adam. So to me, when a baby is born, right when they're born, that's when they're imparted that breath. But they're still developing as an image of God. And yeah, there's a lot of issues with all
Yeah,
that.
in the image of God he created man, male and female created he them in his.
Oh, I'm reading a book on that. The other thing is, we don't, what we do, what we say, how we sin, when we sin, that's our business. That's our business with God. But you see people judging. And there's been so much judging back and forth in this election. And it's like, do not judge or you're going to be judged. There are people getting double disciplined for judging other people right now. And, the whole thing with the LGBTQ, whatever, I'm not really good at that alphabet thing. I call them the alphabet group. That's between them. I mean, honestly, I have some close gay friends. I don't care. That's your business,
Sure.
But, you can't go legislating things that are going to affect other people. I believe 100% in equality. I don't believe in equity.
Right.
I believe that everybody that's qualified should have the same right to have a job. If they're more qualified for that job,
I
don't
agree
care
too.
what color, what they look like, who they are.
Gay or straight.
Right? I don't care.
Right.
Black or white or yellow, whatever. But the equity is against the Word of God. And
It is.
I think that it's important, and a lot of churches are a problem. They're teaching the wrong things. They're more worried about money.
Or offending someone.
Right.
And Martin and I were talking about it. What did Jesus say? You say I've come to bring peace. I say I'll put a father against a son. I'll put a mother against a daughter.
That's
I'll
my
put-
problem
Yeah,
when
children.
if-
I mean, if you got to stand up for truth.
Look,
I'm sorry.
I would never bash somebody who voted against the way I vote.
Right.
But even if I applaud someone who did, then I get bashed by that person because I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut. But I wanted to go a step further. When you two would know this better than me, you're a little older. But the truth is, when they signed the Declaration of Independence, right? Those men, our founding fathers.
I wasn't around.
Yeah.
But you know the story better than me.
I'm a little closer to
You
that.
two know the story better than me. There's pictures of them. They were on their knees praying.
Yeah, they were. That was
No, even the
Yeah.
deists believed that you could not have a country that operated with honesty and integrity without the word of
But
God.
I just want to
Without the word of God.
But our founding forefathers prayed. Yes or no? In books,
They-
right?
Well, yeah, that was a Judeo-Christian principle.
And they put in God we trust on our money, correct? So
that
where
was later, but
okay, so fine later. Then they put one nation under God and God. Then all of a sudden it's like put the brakes on it and Trump wants to bring it back. And I think we need God in schools.
well, listen, he
We
brought
do.
Christmas back.
But-
Remember when he was
and
in?
that's true. There's been a trend of we've seen it taking God out of everything to worry about people's sensitivities and stuff. The thing is this country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles.
Yeah.
This country was made great on Judeo-Christian principles. People go, well, what's that? It's morals. It's
Love
how
that.
you treat other people. It's the whole structure of government, and it's worked. And no, the Constitution doesn't need to be changed because the Constitution protects everybody.
That was the most brilliant document
amazing.
since the Ten Commandments. I'm
Amazing.
telling you, I believe that our Constitution is the most brilliant, God-inspired piece of literature or governing piece of literature since the Ten Commandments.
That's why we're been such a great nation.
Blessed nation.
And the more they're trashing it, the more they want to put people in the Supreme Court that aren't constitutionalists but are liberals, or
And that's what Trump
Or
did for us. Though.
conservative,
Trump
right.
gave us 3
Constitutionalists.
constitutionalists.
Right.
You know what I like about this election? Everybody that came out, all this fluff, right? All this fluff that came out for the left. The Oprah Winfrey's, the Taylor Swifts, the Bruce Springsteens, the whoever they are, right? And the people who got behind Trump, they were the brains, the Elon Musks, the Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s,
Right.
the Tulsi Gabbards. You know, and you look at all this substance behind him, and you look at all this surface junk that was behind her. And I just thought Americans said, I don't care what your status is. I don't care if you've got a brain that can memorize lines and so you're an actor or an actress. You know what? You're not going to tell me how to vote. I know, like you said, when I go to the store, what my grocery bill is.
It's just,
I know what's happening when all of a sudden my community is flooded with immigrants and the people in the school are getting booted out and the hotels don't have a place to put anybody up, so we don't have any income because the government's shoving these people down our
well,
throats.
I pray that these wars stop, that
Yes,
that
and they
people,
will.
and that people start to feel more loved
Safe.
and can afford things, so that unity does start to happen.
It will happen. But there's still going to be people with that worldview that want to be globalists. So the thing is, Trump has to prove by his words and his actions, people will feel better. They'll have more money. You know,
They'll feel safer.
An absolute improvement of not just this country, but a world situation.
Yeah.
But you're always going to have those people because the devil controls the world.
Amen.
Yeah.
You're always going to have people with a pagan worldview. You're going to have people that don't believe in God. You're going to have people that believe in evolution, which is total garbage and has been proven wrong.
Evolution is pollution, and it's got to go.
And you know, the whole thing for pastors and for people, you know, that are discipling, you know, the word is to continue to do that because we need to get past this pagan worldview and people have to be taught.
Well, let's move. So anyway, a few facts here. Martin, you want to go through them?
Yeah, popular vote. Trump had 72 million and Harris had 67 million.
These may have changed slightly.
That took that narrative out of their context.
I still can't believe that. But the Senate, 52 GOP and 43 Dems. House, 201 GOP, 186 Dems.
Yeah, now the House is at 208, and the Dems are up a little bit, and I think GOP is, I don't know. You can look it up. What do we
I'm
have?
looking it up right now. So the House, we're sitting at, you have Wi-Fi in here?
Yeah.
Up here we go. House, we're sitting at 206.
We don't live on one.
206
to 193.
to 193. What's the Senate?
The Senate, we're up by 2, I think. The Senate, we have the Senate.
No, we're going to be up by 6 to 8.
I think that's a little high. But Senate, I think they think they're saying we'll be up by 8. So we're at 52 right now.
Okay.
There is all these. There's a whole
that's
bunch of
crazy.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
abortion remains with the state and stays out of the hands of government. Another lie that we were told that it would be a national ban. But I want to bring something up. One of my board members, and I wish I could wrote down, wish I wrote down the name. There is this type of pregnancy there, but
topic.
it's when the fetus
Is
or the
outside
cell
the-
becomes cancer. It becomes an actual tumor. The cell doesn't even get a chance. It never gets a heartbeat. I forget what it's called. But so she's saying, like, technically, if there was a ban, which we know there's not, but if there was, and a woman had this, where the sperm and the egg form this cell that is actually a cancerous tumor, if it's not removed immediately, it spreads and she gets cancer. But it has never in world history developed a heart or even past that little cell. Those are the things that people are concerned with. I can tell you, just
Yeah, but they don't need to be concerned about it because history shows that we haven't done that. Goodness, my wife, she had a miscarriage in the DNC in the doctor's office. It was our first child. October 16th, remember it to this day. You know, Joel came a year later. So, I mean, we have 2 boys and a girl. You know, we remember it. But anyway.
Borders will once again be secure. Illegal immigrants may be deported. Money that has been given to the illegal immigrants will no longer be the average person's tax burden. That's awesome. Foreign policy wars will cease. In Jesus' name, I added that. Ukraine, Middle East, Europe, Israel. My gosh.
These are just some of the results of this election.
I hope so.
Yeah, that
for
we
this
pray
war
for.
in Israel, I pray for sure. So, what's your takeaway, Dr. Weiss?
Just a quick summary because we're probably a little.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I think the Holy Spirit has illuminated the populace of the United States, and I think that they've come to the realization that we need to go in another direction. And I think that you're seeing an increase in applications to seminaries, see college campuses, massive baptisms of students.
Yeah.
I think there's just a return of growth where people want God back in our schools, God back in our families, and I think that has a major impact on the election.
That's the other thing he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's going to return education to the states and not let the government control it.
So I think
it'll go to
yeah.
parents.
So I think this is kind of a reprieve, but I think it was, again, God's sovereignty let people choose. So I think this is really a victory for the American voter.
I agree.
That they're moving more towards a biblical way of doing things, back to the Judeo-Christian principles that made this country great. So I'm excited to see what happens, especially if we control.
My takeaway is that I pray that we start to see results quickly, so that the people that have been lied to and are victims to those lies start to see that maybe it wasn't such a bad day. They're not acting like it's a funeral happened, I hope that they see change in all walks of life, black, white, brown, Christian, Muslim, transgender, whatever. I hope they all see lower interest rates so they can afford a house. I hope they can build a refrigerator without being poor. I just hope we see some positive change in that, and that people start to love each other.
Day one, I heard they ordered a whole bunch of pens for executive orders.
I think what has encouraged me, and it's just because I've been in the church, so often I go to churches and it's all maternal. Like there's no men. There's like 10 men and 90 women if I go to a small church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the churches that are strong are churches that have men in them. That doesn't mean women don't do the bulk of the load, because they do.
Probably.
It's not just like the home, right?
Yeah.
But, Jesus said, this is interesting, as the man is the head of the home, so Christ is the head of the church. He didn't say it the other way around. As Christ is the head of the church, so man is the head of the home. He says as man is the head of the home. Why? Because he created man and woman before he ever created the church.
Right.
He instituted marriage before he did the church. And I thought what encouraged me in this election was the men that got off their skinny and fat butts and voted.
I love it.
I'm serious.
I tell you what, if let's pretend the war in Israel ends next week and all of us write, thank God the war is over. So all of the people that will say, I hate you and I'm not coming to your salon and I'm not bringing my dog to your practice and I'm not bringing my wife to your church, we still love you.
Yeah.
Even though we celebrated love. And you hate us, we still love you anyway.
And you'll still cut hair real well, and I'll still treat.
That's right.
And I'll still love people. All right,
listen, hey, remember to share, like, comment. If you would like a copy of today's transcript, put it in the messenger. We will get that out to you. If there's anything else you'd like us to discuss on Hijack Life Live, let us know. Pastor Bruce, what is happening this week at the Gloucester County Community Church?
Pastor Blake addresses Jesus' position.
His position.
Yeah, like it's Jesus the Christ.
So what's the title?
Jesus the Christ.
No, it's not.
That was last week.
Oh. Well, hey, we have 3 shirts that'll make you laugh and inspire others. One of them says, live for Jesus on the front, and the back says, even a bad day will be a good day. Doc, what's the next one say? Sure. It'll say that one right there.
Oh, why are you telling me that?
And on the back, it says, stop gossip.
Whenever I walk and I wear that shirt, college students literally read it and turn around and want to see what my back says.
That's good. And my all-time favorite is the one he's wearing. The front says, make life count. And the back says, stop bitching, start blessing. That's brilliant. You can get them if you'd like one of them. Put in the comment, people, you'll get one out to you. But our proclamation for each and every one of you, red, blue, black, white, yellow, it doesn't matter. It's for anyone who breathes air. You ready?
Yeah, right.
1, 2, 3. Live for Jesus, and even a bad day will be a good day.
Love you guys. Thanks for
See you next
in.
week. Thanks for being with us,
Yeah,
Doc.
sure
Appreciate
thing.
it.
It's great.
So Gianna has to end it. So we're still live technically, but she'll end it when the baby stops crying. But Dr. Weiss, tell him about all your degrees that you've developed.
Well,
over
I'm
the time.
working on them right now. I mean, I'm probably, so I've been doing certificates because I feel at my age I don't feel like going for a master's, and there's a lot of different master theologies. So I'm taking credits. I'm going to put them all together. So right now, there's a certificate in Messianic Studies between the Feinberg Center, which is out of Talbot School of Theology, which is out of Biola University in California. Also, I'm taking courses at Tyndale Theological Seminary.
Isn't that crazy?
And also
Yeah.
Schaefer.
Tyndale, he was a martyr.
Yes, he was.
So you were born Jew. And when did you become a Jew that believed in Christ?
1974. I mean, I was bar mitzvahed. I used to go to Passover at my cousin's place in Great Neck all the time with my family, and I was kind of the black sheep. I mean, the prayer book goes around, and they're all reading it in Hebrew, and I'm looking at it, and like I can't read Hebrew. I mean, I memorized the first line of my bar mitzvah, and then I faked it.
I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then I accepted Christ because of some tapes my roommate had given me from a pastor out in Texas, Colonel Thiem. He has thousands of tapes online, and it was a whole different. I mean, I didn't have any theology as a Jew. To me, it was all tradition, all holidays. I didn't understand anything, and then all of a sudden, I got hit with, doctrines, and I go, wow, this is like amazing.
So is that spelling correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, EISS.
That's what I thought.
And
Even though it's pronounced Weiss.
right. So then, I started listening to these tapes, and I couldn't find anything wrong. And the way Colonel Thiem talked about everything, he goes, this word in the Greek is this, and it's an adjective, and the word is tense. It means, it's already happened. And I'm like, whoa. I mean, I was like amazed. It was stuff in the Old Testament, which is the Jewish Bible. So, I just started listening to this stuff. Then I realized that nothing he's saying is wrong, which means the Bible must be infallible. And if that's the case, Christ existed. The Jews believe
That's crazy.
Jews believe Christ exists.
Sure.
So, and then I started, Isaiah 53, which, and Psalms 22, and things that were just pointing to
Crucifixion.
something
Yes.
100 years.
I can't believe 50 years you've been a believer.
Yeah, so
That's amazing.
I listened to tapes for quite a long time. We called it taper. And when I gave my testimony at Schaefer Seminary, I told people basically, I became a taper. People laughed. They all listened to the tape. And then there was a period of time where I was in the flesh, so I stopped. But the theology was still there. The doctrine was still there, but I sure wasn't.
I feel like once it's there, it's
I wasn't producing any fruit, that's for sure.
We all go through that, I think, but I feel like
Yeah.
once it's in you, it's in you.
Yeah, and then I had some, issues come up in my life where, I just felt kind of alone. And, I said, I know the way to get back. And the way to get back was I started getting doctrine again. When Colonel Thiem died, I found a pastor that he ordained out in Massachusetts, which I listened to for him for a long time. Then he died, and I went to a celebration of life in Massachusetts and ran into people I knew just from online.
Wow.
And then his daughter said, you can take 2 classes a semester for free at Schaefer because we're an associated church. I went, oh, really? So I enrolled in 2 courses, dispensationalism and hermeneutics. And I met a pastor online,